We are going to go ahead with our take for 99 cents. And for those of y'all watching the show, y'all know that this is my favorite segment of all time. All right, I'm very excited to do this, especially with Zach here. And normally when we do this take for 99, we just give you a take that's in our mind. This is basically an extra topic if you really want to think about it. And sometimes we don't get to cover everything. So there may be ideas that we have and we could bring it to the table and get a response, right? We have a 1 minute response clause that we have where we can respond to anybody's take for about a minute, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this. And I'm going to pass over the mic. I want to go second here. So whoever wants to go first, by all means.
Hey, can I just go real quick because I'm extremely flustered with this take I'm about to have. For my take for 99 cents, it's time for the New York Mets to clean house. Get rid of Max Scherzer, get rid of Justin Verlander, get rid of Billy Epler, Buck Showalter, Jeremy Hefner. The whole staff, everybody who's not part of this youth movement needs to get the hell out of New York. It is getting disgusting to say the least. Billy Epler last season during the trade deadline talking about the depth of the bullpen, talking about how we have all these hitters, all these different things, and nothing. The second half of the trade deadline, we're losing most of our games, losing most of the series, getting beat up by the Padres in the playoffs, and getting one hit in the damn wild card. Inching into the season, free agency, not getting the hitters, bolstering nonsense on bullpen arms, like some left-handers. We're not really doing what we need to do, overpaying for Verlander. So now we have two of the most highest paid starting pitchers, and they're doing nothing. Justin Verlander giving up curveballs to everybody. Apparently, right-handed hitters are hitting over 500 on his breaking pitches. It doesn't make any damn sense to me. We paid guys to bring him in to help us win. Justin Verlander just helped Houston Astros win a championship last year. This year, he's helping the Mets tank. It doesn't make any sense. Get rid of everybody on this team not named Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and Brandon Nimmo. Everyone knows could just vamoose. I want to keep the prospects. I want to keep the young guys. Alvarez, you keep. Brett Beatty, of course, you keep. Of course, you bring up Mauricio. Of course, you bring up Vientos. Those are the guys who's going to help this team elevate for the near future. I'm sorry for stuttering on my words. I am pissed off when talking about the New York Mets. But it's time for a change. It's time for them to go on their word and talk about competing. Talk about bringing in the best talents to play. The best talents are the damn prospects, and they're not getting no damn time on the field. Doesn't make sense to me. Please sell during this trade deadline and remove the names I said earlier off the New York Mets. And that's my take for 99 cents.
So my take for 99, the Patriots must buy the D-Hop and Dalvin Cook combo to keep pace in the AFC East. And there's no question they need to. A few seasons ago, we saw Bill Belichick uncharacteristically spend. Went on a huge spending spree. Said, I'm going to go ahead to H&M. I'm going to go ahead to Zara. I'm going to go ahead to Urban Outfitters, which is closed, but at that time it was open. I'm going to go ahead to G-Star. I'm going to go ahead and spend money. I'm going to dish out $27 million to Jonnu Smith. Holla at me. I'm going to dish out $22 million to Nelson Aguilar. I'm going to dish out money to Hunter Henry. I'm going to sign Kendrick Bourne. That's my ultimatum. No pun intended. But to no avail. They ended up getting bombarded by a more modernized team in Buffalo in the wild card. It's time for the Patriots to embrace change. They need to sign proven commodities to help them win in today's NFL. Yes, I understand D-Hop wants to be paid like OBJ, if not more. You need to pay him like OBJ, if not more, because y'all in no position to play hardball with anybody. Y'all need the talent. Y'all need the piece for Mac Jones to strive, for success. Which I did to Mac Jones last year was the worst thing to ever do for a quarterback. Kill his development by getting a defensive coordinator to call offense. You need to pay homage. You need to help Mac Jones by giving him extra weapons. I understand we like this kid with Ramondre Stevenson, 1,000-yard rusher, but you need depth. This is the NFL here. Running backs go down like flies. You need a guy like Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook and freaking D-Hop said we want to play together, potentially. Make that happen, Bill Belichick. You owe it to the fans. As I'm choking up here, right? Because I was here. I was a Patriot fan for almost a decade and change, right? And at one point, all we knew was winning. That's all we knew. If we made the AFC Championship game but lost, failure. If we made the daggone divisional round and lost, failure. But now, the new parade is making the playoffs? What have we come to? No. I'm glad I'm not a Patriot fan no more, because y'all would want me Looney Tunes. Okay, I'll be on suicide watch. Nah. The standard needs to be the same. It needs to be winning a championship. The AFC East has gotten significantly better. Right? I understand I come at this cat, Aaron Rodgers, right? I don't like the guy, but I don't think he's great either. But guess what? He's an upgrade at the position of quarterback for the New York Jets. They upgraded. We saw what Zach Wilson was and wasn't. Okay, it's an upgrade. We know what the Buffalo Bills are, and a lot of people is underestimating them. But on paper, they are even better than what they were last year, in a year that Josh Allen almost won MVP. You need to get with the program. You owe it to the fans. You owe it to Coach Belichick, GM Belichick, owe it to Coach Belichick, right? You cannot get a roster full of no names and outdated philosophies for the coach to coach that. You owe it to the coach, Bill Belichick, GM. You owe it to the coach Belichick, all right? You owe it to Mac Jones. You owe it to the franchise. Sign D-Hop, sign Dalvin Cook to compete in the AFC East. And that's my take for 99 cents. Make it make sense.
Yeah, so a lot of really good points all around. And I'll respond to you guys before I get into mine. So, Lil, I agree. I think if the Patriots have any shot at winning this year, they should be bringing in DeAndre Hopkins. They should be bringing in Dalvin Cook. My only question is, and I brought this up a couple weeks ago, I believe, when we were discussing this, is like, I don't think it's ideal for Hopkins and Dalvin to get cut at this point in the offseason compared to if they would have just gotten cut earlier, because now all these teams' cap space, they don't have a lot of it. Like basically all these teams, they built their squads, a few months ago, looking forward to what the season holds, and they just are out of cap space to pay these guys the amount of money that they're seeking. So the sooner they realize that they're not going to get that OBJ money, the better. I do think New England is probably just waiting it out from that aspect, but we know it's Bill Belichick. We know that's a guy that historically doesn't love the idea of paying these skill position players, especially older ones, especially guys that were cut by their original teams. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be willing to spend that money, but I do agree. If New England has any shot at winning this year, they need to bring in those guys. Zay, to your Mets point, man, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's felt to me like the Mets have had a little bit of a dark cloud over their heads since they went to Atlanta last September, and got swept. They lost the division lead, were never able to get it back. I think that continued into the against the Padres, and I think Billy Epler, he does deserve a lot of heat. The Mets, I don't think people realize how poorly of a position they were in once Steve Cohen got there, thanks to Brody Van Wagenen and thanks to Sandy Alderson. They could not develop an arm. The Mets have not been able to develop a young pitcher from the minor leagues in the last decade. But of course, Billy Epler trades the one guy that looked pretty promising in Colin Holderman for Daniel Vogelback, who has not worked out at all. He's been a massive disappointment so far this season. And this Mets roster reminds me a lot of some of the rosters Billy Epler built in Los Angeles with the Angels when he had Mike Trout. He signed Shohei Ohtani. He signed Anthony Rendon, but he was never able to build anything out of it. And when Edwin Diaz goes down, that really impacted the depth of the Mets bullpen. Everyone else had to move up a role. And Epler's philosophy of having a bunch of these lower level bullpen guys that had options like these flexible relief pitchers, they're all stiffs. They're just not major league pitchers. We saw Sunday in Philadelphia, bases loaded, 2-run lead, one out. He had to go to Jeff Brigham to try to get them out of that jam, and we knew that wasn't going to happen. The issue is a lot of these contracts are just so bad, like Verlander, like Scherzer, like Starlin Marte. I don't necessarily know how much you're going to get back for guys like that. There's no one that wants Max Scherzer right now. That's how bad he is. That's how bad his contract is. Same thing could be said for Verlander. These are just older players that aren't getting the job done. I think Robertson could net them a little bit back, but I know they just traded Eduardo Escobar as well. But it is a tough time to be a Met fan, no doubt. And Steve Cohen said he's going to be talking with the media tomorrow. I'm curious what he has to say. The sooner David Stearns from the Brewers gets here, the better. That would be my take on the Mets. So let's end with this. My take for 99 cents. Usually I know we like to talk about things that haven't really come up on the show yet. My take for 99 cents is going to be on a topic we already did hit on, but it's going to be a whole new rabbit hole. were going to go down. So I said earlier in the show, I thought the Warriors dynasty is over. I think Bob Myers leaving Golden State was really the first domino. And I think as more time goes on, we're going to see more and more guys that have been such a prominent part of this dynasty be leaving out the door right following him. So my take for 99 cents is I think this is going to be Steve Kerr's final season as head coach of the Golden State Warriors. And I think next year he will be heading to San Antonio to replace Greg Popovich, who retires to coach one Victor Wembanyama. I think Steve Kerr, he played for the Spurs. He's obviously familiar with that organization. I think Popovich, he is honestly, like, I'm a little bit surprised that he's still coaching. He's an older guy. He's been around San Antonio for a really long time. I thought he wanted to be there when they drafted Wembanyama. I think he's going to want to coach him for 1 year. I actually think the pieces around Victor in San Antonio are better than people realize. I actually really like a young kid they got, Malachi Branham from Ohio State. I really like Blake Wesley. I really like Jeremy Sohan. They have some young players, I think, that will go well with Victor. And I think Steve Kerr, he's going to see, just like Bob Myers did, the writings on the wall. I think this will be his last year as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, and he will be heading to San Antonio to coach Wemby next season.
Wow, that was a hot take. And we know that we love those hot takes here on the Take for 99. We love those type of takes here. We love the creativity. That's what this segment is about, the creativity. Zay, I want you to respond to that if you may. I want to hook up my mic so I can respond to that myself. By all means, brother. That's if you want to.
Absolutely. I think, it's interesting to say the least about Steve Kerr leaving the Warriors to go to San Antonio. I think it's interesting because that actually is a perfect fit to advance what the Spurs want to do, which is bring the Wembanyama up to speed with fundamentals, but also moving at a fast pace and scoring the basketball. When we watched the last couple years, what Steve Kerr was able to do with this Golden State Warriors team, they're able to establish their fundamental play or fundamental basketball play with speed, with understanding that what spots guys need to go to, with giving guys like Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Andre Iguodala at one point, multiple options to find the shooters. And I think Steve Kerr can implement that system over there in San Antonio, which features Wembanyama as the head of the snake, the head of the dragon, however you want to say it. But it allows them to really give shooters all around him. So he's going to be up there in a post like Tim Duncan used to be and getting easier buckets in the paint. Also being able to space the floor and shoot the three when needed and called upon. So I think that's an interesting take if Steve Kerr decides that, all right, well, the dynasty in Golden State is done, but I could start a new dynasty in San Antonio, something that franchise is known for having.
Yeah, I'll just quickly respond to that. I'm not sure if I'm Steve Kerr that I would want to leave Steph. And yes, we understand that the Warriors are not in the best predicament right now with their window closing, but they are one trade away. I think they are one trade away from another star. And I think because Steve Kerr has built a foundation where the ball is always moving, that's what attracted Kevin Durant, the unselfishness, that everybody touched the rock. Nobody's bigger than the team. Nobody's put down lower than the team. Everybody's treated as an equal. I think that may entice another free agent. Like, I understand we said everything that we said about the Warriors, and we are continuing to say the negative things about where they are right now for good reasoning. But I remind everybody that they are one trade away. There's always going to be disgruntled stars. There's always going to be. That's the fabric of the NBA culture. Moves that get made that superstars don't like, that run the franchise practically, they're going to ask for a trade. The Warriors are one trade away. Who wouldn't want to play with Steph? I understand Victor Wembanyama has all this hype and buzz around him, but nobody want to play with him right now. He has to show his stripes. We understand what the labels that he's getting. Oh, he's the best prospect since LeBron James. Fine, I'll give it to you. If you watch him play, fine. But Steph Curry is a guy who I've seen play, especially on the big stage. I'm not sure if Steve Kerr would want to jet that, especially when there may be another star who wants to play with a guy like that. And that's my response. And ladies and gentlemen, I guess that wraps up another episode of 99 Pod. And you know what, fellas? It was a very good show. It's a dying time period as far as sports content. But the fact that we was able to turn 3 topics into 2 hours worth of content, I think we're in good hands. I think we are just fine over here. And I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Listen, please like and subscribe to the channel if you like what you've seen. Please comment on the topics you like. Comment on some topics you want to see in here. But as always, thank you guys. For the next one, please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.